So welcome everybody to another episode of eBay Finds. I got pretty positive feedback from the last one, so let me just show you this. This score is actually not a new score. I actually got this back in February, but I have mentioned it a couple of times, and what you see here is actually a lot that I bought off eBay of Matador and Dowidat tools. And I actually think I got a really good deal because I bid on stuff all the time. Most of the time I don't win it. So I think I got a heck of a deal for this. I think it was only $25 for all these tools. And there's a couple of mystery items in here, so maybe you guys can help identify them. So let me first show you some of the L keys that are in here. So this one, the 17mm, is unbranded, but it does have a symbol there. It says 911. And then it says Chrome Vanadium, West Germany 17. So whatever that symbol is probably the manufacturer, if anybody knows what that one is. And then the remaining L keys were all from a company that's still around. They're called AMF, which stands for Andreas Mayer Fellbach, I believe. And they're supposed to make some pretty good hex L keys as well. But these are the only ones I've ever gotten of that company. All these remaining L keys are from AMF. So I thought this was kind of interesting. If you look at the size there, it says 8 equals 5/16. So I guess they consider this a dual use because they're so close together. And then we got some sockets. And if you remember, for the 3,000 subscriber giveaway, I gave away one of these. Because this lot actually had 2 of these 24mm half-inch drive sockets in there. And thanks to who pointed out when I showed this piece last time that this is actually a drain plug socket for removing a drain plug. So, and then there's a bunch of in-hex 1/2 inch drive. And some of these are Matador, which is a company that is still around, but I've never really had any experience with any of their tools yet, except for kind of some of the old vintage stuff that you can still get. Actually, this is not part of the lot. Actually, I just bought this one recently. Yeah, there was one Dowidat in hex. Looks like a 10mm. And that one doesn't even look like it's been used before. Because there was another. There was this 10mm in there from Matador. And when I got these, they were quite dirty. So I did oil them, clean them and oil them. But a couple of these large wrenches I don't even think were ever used. This is one of the DIN 895 wrenches that you can find. They're not, this style is still available from many manufacturers, but it's not as popular because of how thick it is. When they wrote that standard, they didn't have the material available to make a real thin profile wrench. So they came up with this DIN standard, which is why you see these bulging areas at the end here to add some extra strength. But if you look in there at the flats on that wrench right there, doesn't even look like it's been ever used before. Yeah, same with this 24mm side. And then here's another one that doesn't even look like it has been used. It's been sitting in a toolbox, so you get some nicks and scratches from just moving the toolbox around with the other wrenches. But the flats on there are pretty much in perfect condition. And there's a couple of smaller ones as well. And then there was a couple of 1/4 inch sockets. Here's a Matador 13mm. So it was all metric stuff, no SAE. There's a 13mm. And that one was a Dowidat. And here's a Dowidat 1/4 inch universal drive. And then this thing is a 1/4 inch extension. The unusual thing about this one is this is the only Dowidat that I've seen that has this laser etching. All the other ones I've seen have a stamped on the shaft. So here's one of those mystery tools that was thrown in here that I have no idea if it was supposed to be included with this collection, but it looks just to be a 1/4-inch drive reversible ratchet with 2 drives. So one drive is obviously for tightening and one's for loosening, but it's unbranded. Don't see any manufacturer marks on it anywhere. The quality of it seems pretty good though, so I'm not sure what this would have been used for. It almost looks like it. This part right here goes into a handle. So maybe that's what happened, is the handle came off of this. So if anybody knows what that would have gone to. And then we got a 1/4-inch drive screwdriver handle. That's a 1588. Yeah, one of these days I need to make a database of all the Dowidat part numbers for those who collect them, because I couldn't find anything online, and they have some the part numbers are pretty distinct, so that's a good way to date things. This was also thrown in there. It's just a slotted screwdriver. Again, it's unbranded, but I think this may actually be a Belzer, because if you look at this, is a Belzer extension. It's very similar. The color is very similar. This one's a little bit faded, but the style is extremely similar to the other Belzer handles I've seen. And then we got some chromed Dowidat wrenches, and these ones look like they have been used a little bit. Definitely more than those DIN 895 ones, and that's sort of what I mean with these are not as popular. If you had these and these in your toolbox, you would grab these because they're so much lighter than the DIN 895s are. And then here's a 0 offset Dowidat. That's a number 4, 1317. And then here's a big chromed one, number 6, 2732. So this one was probably in the worst condition out of all of them. And then there's a couple of these. I forgot the name of this tool. It's something to do with automotive, maybe like brake line socket or something. But it's a 1317, and you got this. So this one's a Matador 430, and this is another one that looks like it really hasn't seen much use at all. And then here's a very similar model. So this is a Dowidat number 34. A 13 on one end and a 17 on the other. And there was this hook wrench in there, again unbranded, totally empty. It's got a little bend to it, so I don't know if this was something, another one of those things they just threw into the pile. But it looks like somebody was probably a collector, that where this collection came from. So the most unusual thing in there was this pouch. So let me show you what's in here. So if you look up here, you have a maker, Mayer. So that's actually the logo for Carl Mayer, which is they make textile fabrication machines. And this looks to be some kind of inspection tool set, is what I think it is after looking at it. So we got a pair of scissors here that have the Carl Mayer branding on them. And if you look down in that logo there, it says Paul Special. And Special's in German in there. So I guess the brand name of these scissors is Paul. I've never heard of Paul scissors. Maybe that's a popular brand over there. But the other items in here are kind of a mystery to me. So when I see a red and a green marker like that, that makes me think it's a go or no-go tester. So if we measure the diameter of those, so this one is exactly, looks like it's just over, it's 5 millimeters. This one's like 4.9 or 4.8. It's just a hair smaller than the green one. So I'm not sure if these are probes or something for testing something, some machine. But the strangest thing of all is this little gadget right here. And what you got here, there's a little focal eye And I doubt you're gonna be able to see that. I guess you can kind of see it, but there's a tiny little scale in there. If you look there, you can see the scale. So what it looks to me is like you put this up, up to against something, and you can measure it just by eye in that scale. So I think this is for some kind of QA type function, this little kit. But it's not really that important, so I haven't really researched it a lot. But if anybody has any ideas about what that would be used for, I'd be interested to know. Alright, well I think that's going to about wrap it up for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and I'll catch you guys next time.